Welcome, everybody. We are doing a MMA mainstream podcast brought to you by the Hammerfist podcast. Something new we're doing. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the world of MMA throughout the country. UFC, Bellator, Combat Days America, everything under the sun, what have you. And with me, we have Archie.
Hey.
And then we have Kaelyn joining us.
Hey.
All right, you two, let's get it started. Let's discuss the cuts that the UFC is going to make. They started with Yoel Romero, and they said that they're going to have a huge list of other fighters to be cut. What do you guys think about this?
Go for it, Kaelyn.
I guess I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised about the amount. I could be wrong, but I think they said there's like 60 of them that they cut. So I'm sure we haven't even heard of half of them yet that happened to. But yeah, the big shocker was I think Romero, but I guess when you think about his age, not really surprising, I guess. But
very true. And also his record's been kind of meh. And so I can understand that. They seem to do big cuts with guys that are kind of middle of the road. If they're undefeated, they're going to keep them. But if they have more losses than wins or something to that effect, see ya. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yes. But Yoel Romero, though, I mean, that dude's still he looks like a freaking animated cartoon still, man. That guy's amazing.
That guy's a monster. Yeah, he's a monster. But then again, like, age is a huge factor for them. They're always trying to gun for the younger fighters because then they can have more of a shelf life compared to Yoel, who's not at the tail end, but he's getting close to the tail end of his career. Let's just be honest.
Who was his last fight against Yoel?
His last fight. Ooh.
Israel De La Sanya?
Let's find out.
Yeah, because I mean he looked interesting with Israel De La Sanya. He lasted. What was it? They went the whole 3 rounds,
well,
right?
Kind of a dud, though.
What's that?
That fight was kind of a dud, though.
Yeah, it was. Oh, Yoel had that statue stance there for the first round.
Yeah, with Yoel, I think that he would actually still do really well against guys that aren't in the top, though. So, you know, but when you put him up against like top number 1, 2, and 3, where else are you going to go if you've already lost? You know.
Yeah.
He lost by decision in his last fight, and he's lost his last 3.
Yeah.
So, and he's gone to decision in the past 3, and we all know those aren't the most exciting fights.
Those are terrible.
So
who were the last 3? Israel was the last one, right? Yep.
Yes, that's correct. That was his last fight.
And the other 2
was against Paulo Costa and Robert Whitaker.
Oh my God! Like you said, top 3 guys. I mean,
that one was really good, though.
What's that?
That Paulo Costa and Romero was a good one, though.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, man, that was a slugfest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, you got to get the win though, and that's why he's gone. Now I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with all these other fighters because, like we were talking about, we've only heard of so many so far, but we expect a flood. But when are we going to find out? Is it going to be before Christmas, which is super messed up before the holiday? Or are we going to find out, maybe we'll find out at the beginning of next year?
Oh, you know what? They let go of another one that I was kind of surprised they let her go. With Rachel Ostovich. They let her go as well.
She must have had a losing record.
It's that thing. Like, they also have a ton of fighters on the card because they do control most of, let's be honest, MMA. Like, Bellator only has so many, and they usually kind of get the people that are like on their way up or the leftovers. So,
yeah, these leftovers anyway.
True.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was hoping that Bellator would pick up Yoel. I mean, Yoel, like you were saying, Kelly, he still could beat some people. I think he could give a good challenge to a lot of that.
He could still fight, but it just when you get up to the top and he's going for a belt, I don't see him getting a belt.
Yeah. I don't see him getting a belt. I also feel like his age is a contributing factor, even though like we can always talk about Randy Couture, but that's beside the point. But then you have how much he'll make. He'll probably make buku bucks in Bellator, and Bellator doesn't really want to pay out that much. It's like,
I was wondering. I heard they turned him down, and I I was surprised because I would think they would want him, but maybe it's because he wants too much money, probably.
That's what I happen to think. But Bellator did pick up Rumble Johnson.
Yeah.
Like that one.
I think that'll be more exciting fights. Let's just hope that he stays at a certain weight class because that dude has gone up and down in weight. So hopefully he'll maintain and be able to make weight for his fights.
Yeah,
we'll see about that one.
He has gone up in weight classes. I just remembered all. I think it was like a total of 3, or 4. Span of 4, 3. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, the biggest news of the day, I think it just came out like 11 hours ago, was the lawsuit, Mr. O.
Yes.
Lee and Company.
Yes. That's a big deal. That's been going on since 2014. And so for them to get to where they are now, like, man, that's taking quite some time. But, hey, they're on their way.
Yeah, they are. And, Kung Lee, we had him on the show just about a month ago, and he was talking about that, how, they're looking forward to getting this class action. Was it class action lawsuit? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that meant that they had a year date all the way from 2010 or maybe to 2014, 2017. All these fighters can still, even though they were not in the loop, they can still come back and get some proceeds out of this, man. I think
they can come back and get that?
Yeah. I read an article.
I thought that
would shock me because it's such a long-term lawsuit and situation that that's going to be going on for a while.
Yeah. Well,
I don't understand why UFC, being the biggest MMA promotion, and I don't know, the exact payouts for those, but it's not as good as the other ones. And I don't understand why, or why even as a fighter, why would you? I understand people wanting to be in the UFC because the UFC, there are the best fighters. Don't you think they should get paid the best, though, also?
Completely agree. They should be getting paid more. That's just personal opinion. They should be getting paid more. Exactly. Precisely. But that's just the way they worked it out, that they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Oh, we got Tom Owens commenting.
What's he saying?
I can agree with that.
Easy, Tom. Yeah, Tom's supposed to do a cameo appearance. We'll see if he shows up. But, we're just going to keep going here. And Tom is the man. He had an important opportunity that he attended earlier. But I'll leave it as that.
Question for you. Do you think that if you were a fighter and you got a chance to go in UFC, but you knew you weren't going to get paid that well, but you got an offer from a lower promotion that you might not get as much publicity, but paid a lot more, what would you do?
I would go UFC first.
Why?
Because then you have that moniker of being a UFC fighter that carries a lot of weight with it. Because then even when you go to a lesser promotion, you'll still have that title, and then you can get paid more.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd rather more fighting less, and then you don't have that many fighting years. People don't have that many.
True.
Years
that's very true.
If you want to make it big, and I think that as far as sports goes, like all the other professional sports, they get paid so much, but these guys are literally punching each other and breaking each other's butt. That's the name of the game. You put them out. They should get paid a lot more.
No, I completely agree. They're getting paid so little, and especially when the UFC took out the sponsorships and just put in the Reebok sponsorship. That I think from what I've seen, it's killed the game for a lot of fighters because they don't make anything off Reebok.
Well, they can't even afford to be a fighter. That's terrible because to be a pro fighter, your job is to train. You can't go have a career and then, some people can, but most of them can't have a career to pay their bills.
The ones at high level cannot. But there are a lot of guys that got to work 2 jobs to make ends meet.
I know. It sucks because you got to work so hard to get to the top, but how are you going to afford it,
Yeah, it's not fair. That's definitely for sure. And there is a lot of work that's put into it. And, going back to your original question, Kaelyn, I think that I too would rather go fight for Bellator or for LFA or somebody that's one championship that's going to give you the more money. Mighty Mouse from the UFC, the 125 pounder, he took off.
He's doing well over there too.
But who else did he have to fight? Like he was he had cleared the division. So it's like, all right, guys, well, I'll just go over here. Thanks, bye.
Yeah, he's a different situation.
Exactly.
I don't think he's being treated very well by the UFC though. Like he didn't get what he deserved, so
Very
I don't
true.
know if wanting to go over there and get paid. You know.
Very true.
Yeah, and I'm thinking,
and that's another thing they were discussing in the lawsuit was the UFC has the market share of everything. They bought out whatever competitors they could, so they have more of the lion's share compared to a Bellator or LFA or anybody like that. So that's pretty unfair.
Big as they want, it just sucks that they take all the money and
they don't pay
their fighters.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they can get as big as they want. Very good point, Kaelyn. And like the NBA, all these guys have a different payout, and that's the top level. Shit, if you get to the top level, well, hey, you should be recognized with some good money. But unfortunately,
yeah. But that's cool that the other organizations do pay you out, because it's like, hey, you don't get in UFC, at least you're going to get paid somewhere else.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how the sponsorships work there, but I imagine they're able to get sponsorships. Probably more accessible.
Yeah, everyone but the UFC allows sponsorships at this point, from Bellator to LFA, one championship.
I understand, though. It is a business, though, so Dana White's doing pretty well.
But the lawsuit is worth up to $5 billion.
Oh, my God.
Wow. That is nuts.
That's a lot.
The UFC, I want to say the UFC sold in, was it 2016?
For $4 billion.
Or $4 billion. So they could be making, like, whoever, all the fighters that sign up for it, if it goes through and it's successful, they could be looking at quite the windfall.
I wonder who's eligible to sign up for it. Is it just for anybody, any UFC fighter, or?
Ooh, that's a good question, because it's led by Kung Lee, and I believe John Fitch is a part of it, and Nate Quarry. So I'm not sure if it's just any fighter, if it's a specific group of fighters.
I think there was a year time frame. People, as I mentioned earlier, people from a certain 2010 to 2017 or 2014, but still during that time period that they set, there's still a hell of a lot of fighters in that range of time that they set.
A ton of fighters.
There's more now than ever, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a group of about 1,200 fighters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Unless they opt out. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys up to date and let you know what's going on with that, because we got to see what goes on with that, because that's just crazy.
I hope they get paid. That'd be cool.
It'd be great. It would be very helpful.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. What was I going to say? What's going on our MMA Fight Pass webpage, man? Did we have some good stuff on there?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Let me get that up for us.
I mean, that's the latest news. We had, Tony Ferguson. There we go. He's coming up. Yeah. Actually, there's a big fight coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Orange Charles Oliveira. If he shows up too far overweight, they are not going to compete at UFC 256.
Yeah, that's what Tony said, right? He said he's going to, if he comes in overweight, then he's not going to fight.
Then he's out. Yeah. And I understand that. For you're a professional fighter, you're supposed to make weight. You need to make weight. That's what you guys agreed upon. Hold up your end of the deal. So I completely understand that.
But you're not
wonder if he's worried about something, though. Like, maybe I hope he's feeling okay. Like, with his I know in that past fight with Justin Gaethje, didn't look like he felt very good, but hopefully
he got worn out.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe he's like, okay, you got to be on weight, because I don't know.
Well, Tony always makes weight. Even when he doesn't fight, he makes weight. He had that one fight that was canceled and he made weight.
He doesn't make weight for fights he doesn't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's dedication right there. What's the story about Dana White down there?
All right, let's bring that up.
Curious, because this guy's always making the news.
Let's see.
Cold Smith.
Oh, more roster cuts.
There you go.
Matt Wyman. Well, Matt Wyman, I kind of understand that after his last loss. Like, he got slammed and knocked out. So I can understand why
okay. Well, that
he's
just
part
happened.
of the latest edition. Yeah.
That was terrible. That I had a hard time rewatching that highlight.
That was nuts. I don't recall ever seeing a slam like that, with the exception of like Matt Hughes versus Carlos Newton. That's the only time I've ever seen a slam where a dude's gotten knocked out from it.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Pretty fast too, though. That whole fight was like, I think, 1:30 or something like that.
Damn, that is crazy. Well, it'd be a surprise to see how many more cuts. But you were saying before Christmas. Well, there you go. I don't think it matters. They already did 5 more every week.
They're on their way to 60. That's for sure. I would say some of these names, but let's be honest, I would just butcher them. So I'm not going to do that. Oh, but hey, there's Cole Smith. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I imagine it'd probably be, like I said, a lot of mid-range fighters or guys that had losing records. Just got to cut the chaff out. You got to keep what you got. And you have so many fighters on the roster. You got to do something with them. So.
Right. Well,
but now is coming in all the time, though. Like Dana White has a show every Tuesday bringing in new fighters. And sometimes he signs multiple contracts in one night. So these guys are coming in pretty fast and they're good too. Like they deserve it.
Yeah. Completely agree. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can only have so many people on a card. You can only have so many cards in a year. So, and these guys now have the UFC as attached to them on their resume. So they can pretty much just about write their own ticket. They can now finally get paid somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. Just like you were saying earlier, and you just reiterated, James, you're absolutely right, man. Now they have the title of being in the UFC, and that carries some weight. They could definitely use that as leverage,
Yeah, including, with everything going on, including going to gyms and doing, wow, why am I blanking right now? And including doing seminars. Thank you. And you put UFC fighter, that's going to bring people in.
Oh, yeah.
So it does nothing but help.
Train at whatever gym they're at, it's going to bring in a lot.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, just like you said, James, they can make that into a business opportunity and open their own gym, UFC fighter. I mean, man, they have so many opportunities with that title. Absolutely. That's the cool part about the UFC title. Speaking of titles, is Ferguson's and a title fight this weekend. We know that who is it, Moreno?
I can't pronounce that dude's name. I'll be honest. It's the guy who beat Alex Perez. He's fighting. Yeah, thank you.
Figueiredo. Yeah. Figueiredo and Moreno.
He is fighting, and right after back-to-back fights, pretty much for that guy. That's insane.
I think he asked for that because I think it benefits him. And I was listening to something earlier on that. I think it's better to fight, stay in shape. You have less time to get out of shape. You kind of coast with that level that you're at and cut the weight again because you didn't really gain that much, as compared to what you would if you had like a 3 or 4 month break. I think that's, as far like when you're doing 5 rounds, I think that's a good idea. If you have the endurance for that and your body can keep up, I would do that. I think it's a better option.
If you can handle it, of course.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yep.
But some guys can't hang like that. This guy can, and we'll see how he does against Brandon Moreno.
He's different. He looks like a monster in that division as compared to everyone else. I think he might have something.
The fight against Brandon Moreno and man, wow, I'm sorry to not be able to pronounce it. What was the last name for Davison? Figueiredo. There you go. As far as Brandon Moreno, he's a striker, right? I mean, between them two, I think it's a great matchup because matchup. Because these guys stand up pretty well, but I think Figueiredo, has a ground game experience, man. Not only based off of the last fight, but every Brazilian guy, they got that ground game set.
Yeah.
Significant strikes, yeah.
That Moreno striking is pretty wild, though, too. What's crazy is that he keeps up that pace for the whole fight, also. So.
Yeah.
Moreno does have more submission wins, but overall, Figueiredo has more overall. So he has both submissions and KO wins.
As far as his striking goes, he looks really great as far as striking goes too.
Nice. And that's definitely a belt fight, championship fight.
Flyweight title.
Brandon Moreno, I believe his manager is the same manager that manages Alex, part of the Iridium family.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because I seen
That's
a
interesting.
clip of Brandon Moreno with the Iridium main guy. I forgot his name. But anyhow, that's a side bit.
Hey, man, they got let's get that belt. Like
Right.
those guys need that belt.
Another
So
opportunity.
why not? Exactly, another chance.
Well, that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Precisely. And then we got the man. I still think he's the man, Jacare. He's competing against Kevin Holland in a middleweight bout.
That should be really good too. Kevin Holland's been doing pretty good.
Hey, Jacare's up in age, just like Junior Dos Santos, right?
He's been
That's
around for a
true.
while.
He's been around for well over 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a OG, that's for sure.
Holland does have the reach advantage.
What's the age?
The age, they don't have an age on here.
Okay, yeah.
It's probably smart to not do that because then,
Right.
I mean, you'll figure it out, but you don't want to put that out there. They're like that.
Might mess up the betting odds.
Precisely.
All right.
Wow, Holland has great takedown accuracy, but then if he goes to the ground with Jacare is a king on the ground, so we'll see what happens. That's a really interesting bout.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. Jacare's definitely made a name for himself.
What do you think about that Mackenzie Dern fight?
She's got a fellow Brazilian on her. Yeah. Well, I mean, it comes to striking. She's okay, Dern, but
records though. Look at that.
The what?
She's got twice as many fights.
8-1, 15-1.
That's going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Just based off the experience, with both of them, with no KO wins or TKO wins. Holy moly! I got to give it to the Brazilian.
Me too.
With the experience, I think she's going to rock her world.
I think they're both Brazilian there.
I think so. I don't know. I never know if she is or not. People say she is.
Well, I can pronounce Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah.
I haven't heard her name, so she is to me the Brazilian.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Yeah.
And wait, where is this fight? Is this fight at Fight Island or in Vegas?
Vegas.
If it was in Brazil, like Brazilian wins the end. Doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter. They just win.
Yeah, they just win because Mackenzie Dern could literally put her to sleep, but they'd be like, no, she was resting. Like she wins.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one. So who do you think is going to win on that one? Mackenzie or?
I'm going to say Mackenzie Dern.
All right, I'll go with the Brazilian. Who you got, Archie?
Well, I think the Brazilian, the other Verna. I think she's gonna. I like to see an upset in this one. Basically,
yeah, I would like to see that just because it's always interesting. But watching Mackenzie Dern's last fight, she fought Random Marcos, I think it was, and I was already expecting Dern to win that one anyway. But she looked really good though. She came in really fit. She was really good, so that's why I think maybe she could pull it off.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm gonna tune in for that one. That's for sure.
I think the ground game is where we expect to see a lot of this fight take place.
Yeah,
and that would be really interesting to see.
It's good. I hope so.
Right?
Oh, jeez.
All right, and then we also have Junior Dos Santos on this card.
I did not know he was fighting on this card until like earlier today. Didn't know that.
I didn't know he was still fighting. There's so many fighters now that I'm more or less used to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but who's really the cream of the crop of the heavyweight division? You had Stipe and you had Cormier. I can't really tell you much else about any of the other heavyweights.
Yeah.
They're all really young.
Yeah, well, Derek Lewis.
Like Ngannou.
I was kind of mad that his fight fell out between him and Curtis Blades. I wanted to see that one.
Yeah.
Man, but the other guy looks like a big dude, that's for sure. I don't know.
He better be a heavyweight.
Right.
Can you imagine if they brought in super heavyweights, guys at 265? Holy moly.
Damn.
That would be boring.
That'd be a sumo match.
It would be.
I'll be right
That's
back.
why it would be so boring.
Yeah.
And there goes Archie. Bye, Archie.
I'll be right back.
He'll be back. Significant strikes. Dos Santos is the better striker. Although significant strikes, Cyril has the better percentage.
Yeah, it does. We'll see. I'm gonna say that Gain will take Dos Santos. I think so.
I think on the ground he will. But striking wise, if they just stand up the whole time, I have to give the edge to Dos Santos. So I'll just say Dos Santos.
I think he's been winning all of his fights lately. Actually, I was surprised. So we'll see. I don't really know too much about this other guy, though, to be honest.
I don't either. I'm so used to the more experienced fighter in Dos Santos that I haven't really had an opportunity to learn the younger fighters, with the exception of certain people.
Well, I feel like we don't see too much of them if they're not ranked, you know?
True. They'll fight on the undercard, and sometimes we don't even have access to said undercard. So
true, yeah. But he's undefeated, so who knows?
All right. We've looked at the main card. Let's go ahead and take a look at the prelims. Cub Swanson is on the prelims. I'm surprised he's not on the main card.
Didn't he get a really nasty leg injury in a jiu-jitsu match, I think? Is that what happened?
When was that? When did that take place?
Not that long ago, I think. It could be thinking of somebody else, but I think that was him. I think he got a really nasty submission.
Well,
I don't know what it was. I think he really tore up his knee. I don't know. I could be making that up, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened not too long ago.
All I see is his Instagram, and so all I know is he is really happy with everything.
We'll see.
Nice.
All right, who do you guys take in that fight then?
Well, you know,
who is he fighting? Cub Swanson and who?
Cub Swanson and where is it? Come on. Versus Daniel Pineda.
Daniel Pineda.
He's 27-3. Let me bring that up for you guys.
You know, Cub Swanson is my favorite dude, man. I'm gonna have to be biased on this one.
Biased, yeah.
They've got about the same amount of experience.
Man, that's a hard one. I'm gonna go with Pineda.
I agree with that.
Because Swanson hasn't fought in a really long time. He hasn't been in there in a while, so I don't know. We'll see. But I think Pineda. I'm gonna take him.
I have to take Pineda as well. What about you? You going with Cub?
Yeah, I won't put no money on it, but yeah. Yeah, old Cub. He's the guy.
Yeah, Pineda's grappling is far more superior compared to Swanson's.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think the ground game is going to be the huge factor in that.
Oh, should be.
Bellator had a fight this past, yesterday?
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I heard there was an upset, right?
Yeah. McLima?
She's from Hawaii. I know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot her first name. McFarlane. I guess she lost her belt last night.
Yes, that's correct. She sure did.
Yeah.
Juliana Velasquez.
That was
undefeated.
I'm surprised we didn't hear more about this Bellator fight because I'm on their website and I didn't hear anything. I was like, oh, there was a fight yesterday? Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, good for them.
Yeah.
And Magomedov fought, and he won by decision.
He did. You're right.
I feel like with Bellator, I like Bellator. They really need to develop their own fighters. Like they had Eddie Alvarez, they had Michael Chandler, but they're gone. And they haven't developed anyone else. They have Patricio Pitbull, but you need more. They need to develop their own guys.
I heard Dana White was interested in him too, so we'll see.
And Pitbull? And who?
Yeah.
Dana White is interested in anybody that they promote that is a bigger name. because he could promote him better.
But yeah, true.
Yeah, for sure.
And that sucks for Bellator, because Bellator will create a star, and then Dana White will be like, "Thank you."
Yeah. Well, that comes with wanting that UFC on your resume.
That's true. Very true.
So what do you think about our Chris Ronquillo? He says Cub definitely needs this win. He sure does.
I think he's right. And Albert Ramos has also commented, seeing, hey, what's going on with everybody. And he says Jacare and Dern.
Those are his picks.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
He says Dos Santos is going to get starched.
Yeah, I think so too. I
disagree with that statement, but
he will probably get starched.
I hope not.
Yeah. Well, I never want to see anyone, that's been around for a long time get knocked out. I hate seeing, guys that have been on top that have been around for a while. You'd hate to see these older fighters get, killed. It's not fun to watch anymore,
You're right. The only knockout I've ever really enjoyed was, this is going to sound really terrible, was Tank Abbott versus John Matua in one of the early UFCs.
Okay.
John Matua got knocked out by Tank Abbott, and he was literally like, his arms were like he was frozen. So we refer to that. It is scary, but this was also when it was crazy UFC time. Like anybody fought anybody.
Yeah.
And so we refer to that as him getting starched, because he was literally like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome back, Archie. We went old school with UFC. We were talking about, I mentioned John Matua versus Tank Abbott.
Damn.
And how that fight ended. Yeah, went old school with it.
That's good. That's way back.
But bringing it back to the mainstream, like we've been discussing, we have Rumble Johnson going to Bellator, Yoel Romero not going to Bellator, but more or less will probably be picked up by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
Oh, I was just going to say, I hope he goes to Bare Knuckle. That would be so fun to watch.
That's true. That will be very interesting. Those fights go so fast.
They do.
I really enjoy watching those fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
That would be the most exciting thing that he could probably do right now.
I completely agree. And they'll probably pay him the money that he feels that he deserves.
I heard they do pay a lot of money for the bare knuckle contracts. Like
you only fight. I haven't seen any of the fights go past 5 minutes. So yeah, go figure.
Yeah, our very own JC Llamas is a bare knuckle guy, so we'll see.
Very true.
To get on, on the scene, and it's just there's not. Oh, who was going to get on the scene just recently? Oh, Chris Ronquillo was telling us. Bakersfield. Chris, if you're listening, give us his name again. He's a coach. Oh my gosh, he's an MMA.
Cody Sons.
There you go, Cody Sons. He got contracted just recently to fight in a bare knuckle fight, but then that kind of fell through. But anyhow, yeah, Cody Sons. I mean.
I feel like a lot of promotions, if they don't have TV or some type of deal with a pay-per-view, they're probably not really going to have any type of event.
Yeah.
It's hard to find when they're not on an app or a channel or something. And you barely even hear them advertise what fight cards are coming up and when.
Very true.
It's probably on not a Saturday night or a Friday night. It's going to be some weird, well, maybe Friday, but
it's on Monday at 2 a.m.
Yeah, depending where it's at, but definitely not when UFC is going on or Bellator.
Right. Yeah, no, Bellator seems to have found a home out there in Connecticut. That's where they're doing all their fights.
On Thursdays, though.
And
they probably have an in, so hey, let them, because then they keep putting out fights too. It gives us something new to watch.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. It's always good to watch some kind of fight. I mean, what is it? LFA hasn't had a show, I don't think, in a little while.
Not that I know of.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen LFA in a while, actually.
Yeah, Legacy Fight Alliance. They have actually, what are we, November they had a couple fights back-to-back, like 3 weeks in a row or something, or could have been October into November. But anyhow,
it's also the holidays, so a lot of people have slowed down. It's just the UFC is the UFC. Like for Bellator, yesterday was their last fight until the middle of next month. So in the new year, they'll start having their fights. Yeah. And according to Chris Ronquillo, bare knuckle is on tonight.
Oh, nice!
Wow, No idea.
And you know what? This bare knuckle fight, Chris has a pay-per-view channels available for you, right, Chris? he's
from what I've heard, he knows someone who knows someone.
Yeah. LFA was on last week. There you go.
Got it. I had no idea.
Yeah, we need to.
No clue.
These guys need to do more promotions. I mean, we have to dig up this information.
I feel like I watch the news a lot, and I still don't hear about it. So.
Yeah. Well, but it's because we'll hear more about something going on with a UFC fighter rather than something in a promotion. Exactly. Like, oh, him and his wife had a child. Oh, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Or he was injured in sparring.
Yeah. It sounds bad, but I hate to find out when like someone's pregnant or they're having, because they're not going to come back for a while.
Yeah. Uriah Faber starting a family. I love Uriah Faber. Good for him for starting a family. I'm a fight fan. I really don't care.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to jet. I was gonna hang out just for half an hour, and you guys continue the show, and I appreciate you guys. I just have a session to go to, and I got a jet, but I appreciate you, James and Kaelyn. You guys keep it going, man, and
thank you, Archie, for joining us.
Yeah, no, definitely. Go MMA mainstream. We'll talk. Yeah, we'll chat offline. But this is what it's about, man. Just talking MMA and letting everyone know what's going on. And especially, since we upgraded our website, that website has all the MMA mainstream news. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, definitely. And Kaelyn, we hope to see you out there competing sometime soon, but we'll see when that happens.
I'm waiting for, there's fights, I think, going on out of state and stuff like that. I'm just wondering if they're going to come back to California or how close I can get to California where they're going on. So
to get a little political, as long as we have Governor Newsom, I don't know when we're going to fight again in MMA's cage.
We're all
no, I'm just kidding. No, I don't want to go there. Just kidding. All right, guys. Hey, we'll see you guys in a bit. Thanks, Kaelyn, James. You guys are amazing, man. We'll talk to you guys in a bit.
Okay, all see ya. So what other fights or what's going on?
I think we pretty much covered everything with Archie, and we did our picks. We talked about the UFC, and then next week we could discuss the other card coming up at the UFC, and then discuss who won in the bare knuckle fights that we just found out about that are happening tonight.
Yeah, great.
So I think next week we'll have a pretty action-packed show talking about that. And Kaelyn, thank you for joining us on here.
Yeah, no problem.
And I look forward to talking to you next week.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.